Hello everyone, my name is Felix and I want to talk about the LMP1 hybrid system as it works in iRacing. And I'm doing this because I met some people who have troubles to understand how this thing works and how the setup of the hybrid system works. And that's why I'm trying to explain what I understood, what it is. I will show a couple of numbers, and the values of these numbers are made up. They are not actual numbers. How should I know? And I chose values for easy readability. So if they're not correct, please forgive. The most common misunderstanding of the hybrid system, in my opinion, is the term automatic and manual boost. So the misunderstanding itself is automatic boosts automatically, manual boosts manually, and not automatically, but it does. Why is that? I think this is due to bad naming, because actually what the setting is the automatic or manual boost trim. It's always boosting automatically, but the setting you change is about the trim and not the boosting. So I picked an iconic corner, which is pretty much a prototype corner for boosting, which is the Mulsanne corner. And let's talk about a couple of terms. So the deployment of boost is to boost until a percentage P of the next projected top speed Vmax is reached. So you're coming out of Mulsanne corner and put the pedal to the metal, and the car is accelerating, and the boost will boost. The car will boost until a certain speed is reached. It will cut off before the battery is empty, probably. Either it cuts off at a certain speed or the battery is empty. So towards Indy, you reach top speed, and this top speed is important for calculating when the boost cuts off. So as an example, I said we have 300 kilometers per hour Vmax, which is top speed at the end of the straight. And we have this percentage P, which is 75%. So the V boost, which would be the speed where the boost cuts off, would be Vmax times P. That is 225 kilometers per hour. Effectively, that means the car boosts out of Mulsanne and stops boosting at 225. And again, these numbers are made up. It's for easy readability that I took 300 kilometers per hour and 75%. Might be different. It's just for easy calculation and readability. So the next thing is, how does the car know when to boost? So the car or the hybrid system has a deployment map. That map is for each track. It contains a list of points on the track where boost should be deployed. So out of Mulsanne, there's a point that tells the hybrid system, okay, if the driver now puts the pedal to the metal, I will boost. And the projected top speed for this boost point is 300 kilometers per hour. If you now reach here at Indy and you're accelerating out of Indy towards Anache, probably the hybrid system will not boost. Either there is no boost point here, or the projected top speed at Anache is so low that the boost system doesn't have to boost because you're never below that speed. Could be, I don't know. But there are certain points on the track, maybe sometimes in corner combinations, where you just do not boost. And that might be due to the deployment map not having a point to boost, or the speed being not low enough to have to boost. Next thing up is this deployment trim. So what is that? It basically is the sum of required energy to boost to the percentage P of the next projected top speed Vmax for all the boost points on the track. And that represents the trim. So the boost point at Mulsanne, the boost point out of Arnage, and the boost point maybe, I don't know, somewhere else out of the 4 chicanes, wherever the map contains these boost points, and all this energy that has to be deployed to reach the projected top speed. That basically is the trim. That energy actually is variable, so it's more the trim is more the percentage and the top speed. It's not really the energy. The energy is a result of that trim. Because if you're, for example, if you're in the warm-up lap and you do not cut off boost manually, this toggle off button, the car will constantly deploy energy and drain the battery, because you will never reach the top speed. You will always be below that point. And that means that the hybrid system, that the electric engine will always drain the battery and help driving the car. And that's why you always in the warm-up lap should cut off the boost by manual boost, by turning the boost off. I can't recall the name right now of the button name. It's, I think, no boost toggle. I think it's no boost toggle. So next up is the different kinds of trim. So what is this automatic trim that some people think it is automatic boosting, but it's just automatic trim. It's let's say the standard trim or the default map that we have. The automatic trim should be balanced. It's the amount of harvested energy, EH, that you gain through braking, mostly braking, and for the 919 additionally through the the turbo system, and the amount of deployed energy, ED, should be the same. So that means balanced. You harvest certain amount of energy, you deploy certain amount of energy, and if these two are the same, then the trim is balanced. The effect of that is that the battery level is always the same at start finish. You can reach this effect in different ways, but with a balanced trim it should also have this effect. If you do not boost at all, the battery level will always be 100%, so it's always the same at start finish. Or if you always boost all energy out of a corner, then the battery will always be 0 at start finish. But to have it balanced means that you are somewhere around something, every time the same. So that's automatic trim. Then we have this manual trim. What does that mean? It's not manual boosting, it's manual trim. So this allows the driver to increase or decrease the percentage P of the next projected top speed Vmax. So as usual in iRacing, there are 12 steps of adjustment available. So you have 1, which is max, the percentage P is the highest. 6 is the balanced one. That's why it's the same as the automatic one. And 12 is min. So the minimum amount of boost, or the minimum value for P. I don't know why it's very often that is 1 is max and 12 is min. It's a bit, you have to wrap your head around this, but well, it's probably not their choice. It's just how it is in the cars, and it's simulated correctly. That's what I assume, but that's what it is. So in the end, it's something like that. So let's assume P, default P, is 75%, and Vmax is 300 kilometers per hour. And let's further assume that each step increases or decreases P by 5%. So if we have a look here in the center of that, we have 6, the trim 6, which is 75%, which is 225 kilometers per hour, which is the speed where the boost cuts off. And 6 is the same as setting the boost to automatic. If you now decrease the trim value, you increase P. So you're going towards the maximum value for P. So increase by 5%. 5% is made up. I don't know how much it is. It's just to have an easy number. So we go 5 would be 80, 4 would be 85, 3 would be 90, 2 would be 95, and 1 is 100. And that would be 300 kilometers per hour, which is the projected top speed at the end of the straight in this example. So effectively that would mean, since it is the projected top speed, and the battery is not big enough to supply that amount of energy, if you set it to 1, that basically means out of every corner, just deploy all the energy that you just harvested by braking towards that corner, or in the case of the 919, that little amount of energy that you harvested on your way towards that corner. On the other way, we have, if you increase this trim value, you decrease the value of P. So 7 means 70, 8 means 65, 9 means 60, 10 means, is there a wrong number? No, 55, 11 means 50, and 12 means 45, which affects in 135 kilometers per hour. So if at all, depends on the position of the boost point, but if at all, the hybrid system will boost very little out of Mulsanne. And now there's one more thing, that is the manual trim offset. So it is there to help making manual 6 balanced. You know, manual 6 is the default trim, which is also automatic, and you have this offset value to make this balanced. That is needed because drivers are different. Some drivers do not manage to have no overlap. Some have overlap. An overlap means you come off the throttle and then you hit the brake. because the hybrid system will not work if you hit the brake while throttle is applied. And while that is generally a thing you do to stabilize the car by overlapping those two, you should not do that in an LMP1, and that directly affects how much energy you harvest, and therefore balanced maybe is different for you. Maybe you need to set an offset and manual 6 works for you. Other reason could be that the deployment map, the default deployment map at manual 6 is not very accurate. I found it to have maybe 15% of battery gained every lap. So I didn't deploy enough, basically. I harvested more than I did deploy. And to be able to balance out the manual trim settings, you can set this offset. Unfortunately, you only can set this offset in the garage. You cannot set it in car. That's something I'm missing a bit. I mean, you set it up once and then you have this boost value things. You can switch it from 6 to 7, from 6 to 5. But why not make it possible to adjust the offset? But maybe that's not possible in the real world, so it's not simulated, or that black box for the LMP1 is too big already. I don't know. But anyways, the offset means that you can, well, offset the percentage P in a range from -15 to 15%. That means if you set it to -15, instead of being 75%, it is 60% at manual 6. That means 60% of the straight line speed, of the projected straight line speed, is the speed that the boost will cut off. So you're offsetting the speed to cut off boost by -15%. So lower speeds, you're boosting less. So that's the same for all the other values. You just can compare it here. It's instead of 100%, you have 85% at manual 1. And that's the same with the other end. At manual 12, instead of 45%, you have 30%. And the same with the positive offset, you're at 150%, 15% at manual 1, you're at 90% at manual 6, 75 plus 15 is 90, and you're at 60% at manual 12. Pretty simple, isn't it? So recently, I think this season, I don't know about CSS, but VRS, this season, they started to make the setups manual boost, so that the automatic boost does not, I'm not talking about the trim here. I'm talking about the car not boosting at all. How do they do that? Well, they do 3 things basically. That is, they ignore the concept that manual 6 should be balanced. That means the energy deployed equals the energy harvested, or the other way around. The energy that is harvested is the same as the energy that is being deployed. But that's just okay. Then actually the change is that the trim is being set to manual 12. That means the minimum deployment, or in the example 45% or 135 kilometers per hour of the projected top speed, that will be the speed where the boost cuts off. And for cases where this is not enough, could be, I can't remember, could be that at Mulsanne you're somewhere below 135 kilometers per hour at the boost point where the deployment map tells the car, okay, if throttle is applied here, activate the hybrid system to boost until 135 is reached. I can't remember right now. So to make, and for example, for the warm-up lap, 135 kilometers per hour is more than the speed you would drive in the warm-up lap, so still the battery would drain. So in addition to that, they set the offset to minus 15%, so P is further reduced from 45% to 30%. And in the example, that would be 90 kilometers per hour. So you would barely see any boost being applied anywhere. With 90 kilometers, I mean, 300 top speed is a made-up number, and obviously in Le Mans it's exceeded. So if you're in the warm-up lap in Le Mans, it could be that even with this setting, you will have to manually toggle the boost to manually turn it off. But pretty much on every other track, you don't usually reach 300 kilometers per hour, so it's even lower. And not every straight, not in Le Mans, but anywhere else, not every straight has a projected top speed of 300. Or the top speed of the track at all. So you will be below the speed that you drive in the warm-up lap, so you don't have to do anything. So this is how they do it. If you want to boost manually, you just set the trim in a way that the numbers just fit, so the hybrid system does not automatically boost. That concludes this video about the LMP1 hybrid system in iRacing, and I hope it did help to understand these settings.